So why did Andrew Tate get banned?
They did not tell me. They did not send me an email, no correspondence. I certainly didn't break terms of service. I guess that's why they couldn't send me an email and explain why. Nobody told me, whether it was YouTube that banned me or Meta that banned me. They banned me instantly and forever without any kind of correspondence. They've not told me why. They've not told anyone what I did. The media machine, in synchronization with the ban, we can call that coincidence if you want to believe in such things, came out with some kind of bullshit explanation that I'm misogynistic or some garbage. But the actual social media companies themselves provided no explanation at all, no correspondence at all. They just deleted me. That was it.
Now, are you doing anything about it? Are you having your legal team trying to find out why they did that, or you're not taking any action right now?
I do have a lot of things happening behind the scenes. However, and perhaps I'm becoming optimistic in my old age, but I believe that in due course, the social media companies will realize the mistake they made. I think that, and like I said, I don't have intimate knowledge of the workings of social media companies, but assuming they are semi-professional to any regard, and that is a big assumption, but let's assume they're professional. That means that when they ban somebody like me, especially the most Google search person on the planet, they must have teams which are analyzing in real time the response to said action, right? Mm-hmm. They should have people sitting there on the ground analyzing. Now, they attacked me with their media machine because first they shut you up so they can lie about you. So they shut me up. Then they did the massive media push to try and attempt to lie about me. But despite that, the majority of comments regarding me are still positive. The majority of people believe and understand that this ban is unfair. And if these companies have any degree of professionalism, they're analyzing this in real time and they're understanding that this makes us look very bad. People didn't believe the lie. People didn't believe what we attempted to smear this man with. Nobody is buying this narrative. And this is going to have a negative effect on us for a very, very long time. Because when you're in charge of the world, which they are, as soon as you're no longer seen as just and fair, you're seen as tyrannical. And once you're seen as tyrannical, then there's going to be some kind of mass movement against you. So if I was a social media executive, I would sit and I would analyze the data and I would say, listen, guys, we will have a monopoly. We want to retain our monopoly. Let's be smart here. Being known as tyrannical amongst the public consciousness across the entire planet is going to make it very difficult for us to hold our monopoly for a longer period of time, as opposed to being seen to be fair. Even if we're biased, we must be seen as fair.
Sure.
As soon as we're seen as tyrannical, right, that's when the revolution. Look at Ceausescu. As soon as you're a tyrant, that's when everyone hits the streets.
Yep.
So I think that if they have any kind of serious data monitoring and if they have any kind of serious business professionalism, they are now talking in dark rooms, understanding that this has played out very badly for them. And if they intend on keeping their monopoly into the future, that they need to change something. Maybe I'm being optimistic, but we will see.
Who was the first one to take you off?
Meta.
Meta was first. So
Meta.
Facebook, Instagram.
Facebook, Insta, bam.
Okay. And then it was a domino effect.
Yeah. So Meta took me down. So it's quite interesting, actually. I had a YouTube channel for a while. It was never so large. I had 738,000 subscribers. It took me a long time to build it up. I got a strike on YouTube, which prevented me from posting. It's got a strike. No big deal. The next day, Meta took me down, deleted my Facebook and my Instagram. The press came out at exactly the same time in sync, saying that I'm a misogynistic, dangerous person, that I'm harmful, that I am the reason that the world is not a perfect place, world hunger, you name it, all my fault. Attacked me across all of this. And I thought, okay, let me film a message that I can get out on my YouTube, my final message, which I don't know if you guys have seen. I ended up putting on freetopg.com. Let me film my final message explaining how this is unfair and unjust. We filmed it, we produced it, we got it all edited within 12 hours, head to toe ready to go, but we couldn't post it because of the YouTube strike. So we're waiting for the YouTube strike to expire. A few hours before the YouTube strike expires, guess what happens? They banned me from YouTube. Then they banned me from Discord. Then they banned me from Airbnb. They banned me from Stripe. I can't even remember.
Airbnb?
It was just emails coming in faster than you could believe. Ban.
So it wasn't just the socials.
Oh, no. The Matrix presses a button, my friend. Yeah. And every app on your phone stops working. Uber. You name it. Uber.
Stop.
You name it.
Wait, you can't use Uber?
Well, I can use Uber. You just start a new account, right? But
yeah.
Oh, sorry, Uber. Catch me. But
your main account on Uber was taken.
They take everything from you.
Everything. Coordinated effort all at once.
Coordinated effort all at once. Every single one of them just goes, no. Delete. And they come at you with everything.
And Stripe.
Banks.
Payment processing.
And banks. UK-based banks as well. High Street, banks. But I can name Santander, HSBC, Barclays, etc. all at the same time.
Banks.
Oh no, sorry, to change. We've decided because blah blah, some bullshit, some letter, close your accounts. So they take all your banking, they take your payment processing, they take all your social media presence, they take your Discord, they take your Skype, they take all your accounts, your ability to communicate with people, and then they lie about you in the press. And they leave you there. they leave you there to suffer. They attempt to harm
you can understand the social component. All right, these guys are probably all working in unison.
Yeah.
But when you hear payment processors, banks, apps like Uber, how are you processing that?
No, I mean, that's why he has to do something about it. Because, for me, there's plenty of great lawyers. Did you hear about what happened with Alex Brenneson lately?
Alex
Did you follow
Berenson?
Alex.
Berenson.
Berenson.
The writer?
Alex Berenson, I think
I heard he sued Twitter or something.
He
I don't know.
sued Twitter.
Yeah.
Did you follow the story?
I don't know the exact story, no.
So he was on Joe Rogan. If you've not seen it, I highly recommend you watch this. So he is saying things about Twitter. Matter of fact, the tweet that got him in trouble, got him his 5th strike, was the following tweet. We can put this up there because I'm just reading what he said. This is a tweet he put out that he said, "It doesn't stop infection or transmission. Don't think of it as a vaccine. Think of it as, at best, a therapeutic with a limited window of efficacy and terrible side effects profile that must be dosed in advance of illness, and we want to mandate it. Insanity." That's his tweet. So he gets banned.
Makes a lot of sense to me.
In December of last year, which was 6 months after when Biden said anybody who allows debate of vaccine should be banned or shouldn't be allowed, meaning that there shouldn't be any of that. So 6 months after that, he gets banned. In April, a judge in California is, believe it or not, a very big freedom of speech place because they allow protesting. A judge that was appointed by Bill Clinton comes in and says, "I'm allowing this to go through," because typically Section 230 that is in place in 1998 was to protect social media sites and many of these online sites that if you offend your ex-wife or if you offend your brother, it has nothing to do with Facebook. So they kind of protected themselves. But Alex was able to go all the way because of this court judge that was appointed by Clinton, not Obama or Trump, but by Clinton. He goes in. Eventually, he says, you get to have 2 people from Twitter to come to court to defend themselves. So he could have gone to Jack Dorsey. Long story short, they finally lifted it. He is on Twitter and he's posting heavily talking about the fact the reason why he got banned is because the government didn't want him on inciting what he was inciting. So the moral of the story is when you say something like that, for someone like you seem like you're a methodical guy. You're a chess guy. Your dad's a chess person, 5-time United Armed Force champion, 5 times, 6 times Indiana State. You were playing at 5 years old against 16-year-olds. You don't play chess without being strategic, thinking about your next few moves.
Correct.
So if you don't do anything and bring lawyers in to the market, I've interviewed a lot of people who are in the mob. To the market, it sounds like they're right.
Absolutely.
But if you do and you defend yourself, you're not only doing it for yourself, but you're also doing it for others who maybe don't have your kind of resources to say,
correct,
hey, this guy's willing to stand up. He kind of helped change the law for me.
Correct.
Because the one case, it was the Sikhs against Facebook. That's the case that helped them out. India years ago didn't like this Facebook group that had Sikhs. It was a Sikh Facebook page. So India told Facebook to take them off. Facebook took them off. Then Sikhs sued Facebook. That became the precedence.
Nice.
So somebody like you can potentially set a new one against Section 230.
Absolutely. I certainly have legal options being explored. And I don't want to say too much on the podcast, but legal options are certainly being explored. We'll see how things progress across the next few weeks. But I have a very strong suspicion I will end up back on the media platforms, or they will offer them back to me. The question now at this point is if I even want them anymore, which is a unique question because a lot of people still believe that you can only have a significant presence in the world with these social media platforms. That's the source of their power. I believe there's huge pressure behind the dam in regards to the fact that everybody understands that these places are tyrannical and that they control ideas and that they force narratives. And I use my wording as the Matrix. I call them the Matrix. And people say to me, why do you call them the Matrix? And I say, because they project a false version of reality in real time that people subscribe to. If there wasn't an absolute blacklist on all opposing views during COVID-19. That bullshit would never have gone on for as long as it did. It went on for as long as it did, and they managed to purport a false version of reality for so long because you couldn't discuss the opposing side. We just talked about our friend here who got banned for saying something very sensible and logical. So when you get huge media companies that can literally alter in reality in real time by deleting the other side of an argument, they're creating a matrix, is what I like to call it. So I call them the source of the matrix. So people understand this, and there's huge pressure behind the dam, but the problem is people say, well, what's the alternative? And I think if someone could pave the way and put a crack in the dam by maintaining massive relevancy despite of a ban and still having a social media platform and presence which is respected on other platforms, I think it's going to do them significant damage. I think the pressure and the crack together is going to create something monumental. And already I've moved to Rumble. I only had 738,000 subscribers on my YouTube after 5 years of work. Post-ban, I moved to Rumble, which is a YouTube competitor. Stock price has gone up 36%, and I'm at 500,000 subscribers in 2 weeks. So I'm about to surpass the size of my YouTube channel within a month. YouTube stock's down, Rumble stock's massively up. So all in all, there's other avenues, but we'll see. I certainly agree with you that what they've done to me is massively unfair. They know it's unfair. I think the reason they didn't send me any email or any confirmation of what I did wrong is because they knew they were going to end up in court. And they didn't want to be tied down to their reason. They want to stay fluid and try and make up a reason on the day. Yeah. I've heard from very reliable sources that their terms of service have changed significantly post my ban. They've made up new reasons. Post ban, they've made up a bunch of new shit. So it's going to be interesting. But certainly, yeah, there has to be legal ramifications for what they've done. I don't take it personally, but I do take it professionally. And you're right. They were wrong. I have no reason to be banned. My Instagram is just cars. It's just cars and a little bit of flexing. There's no politics. There's not even any points of view. I had no strikes, nothing. It's just a hit piece. So
if there were betting odds, like if we did a poll, why do you think Andrew Tate was banned from all the social media platforms? And it was misogyny, right? You know, COVID stuff, against the government, against system. If you were a betting man, where would you kind of place the odds?
Oh, I already know. Everybody already knows I was banned because I talked against the system. Against the matrix. They know
the system in general.
The system in general, yeah. I mean, someone compared me to Socrates, which is a compliment, but he was vilified. He ended up poisoning himself in Athens, and the charge against him was corrupting the youth. If you read about his poisoning and his arrest, they said he was corrupting the youth, but he wasn't corrupting them. He was inspiring them to challenge authority. He was inspiring them to think for themselves. When they were told something, instead of blindly complying, he said, look, analyze who these people are who are telling you to do X. And I even had a tweet I put out on I've been banned on Twitter forever. So I've been through 20 Twitter bans. I come back as undercover, whatever. But I've been saying I said, if you have a point of view that you are very strong in your adherence to, if you truly believe something, you need to sit and analyze whether it's your own personal experience that makes you believe something, or if someone else or something else has convinced you of this. And if they have, you need to then once again analyze that point of view and analyze who these people are and what they want from you. Do they truly want the best of you? If the news convinces you of something to the point where you're going to argue with your own family members at a dinner table, does the news really care about you more than your family? This is a genuine question. You need to analyze every belief you hold, where it came from, and then analyze what their intentions are. And if you start to do that, you look at something like COVID, for example, it's an easy one. And you look at all the bullshit they were saying and you sit here and go, wait, these people don't care about me. If I had diabetes or I needed insulin, or if I had cancer, or if I got in a car crash, anything, they'd be hitting me with medical bills I could never possibly afford. They'd let me die. But they are insisting I take this shot for free on repeat. This doesn't make sense. And when you encourage people to think for themselves, especially the youth, that's what Socrates got accused of. He's corrupting the youth. And to be honest with you, a huge portion of my fan base were 18 to 23, 24-year-old males. When you have the youth, the masculine youth of the world, thinking for themselves, that's pretty scary to authority. Because it's the masculine youth of the world that is, one, the revolutionaries, and two, also, that's the backbone of the slave force. If you need people to go die in a ditch in Afghanistan, you need them. If you need people to work bullshit jobs in a coal mine with no health care, you need them. If you need people to blindly comply to bullshit, you need them more than anybody, more than you need the feminists and the liberals. You need the real men to go out there and comply with the bullshit, to live a shitty existence, to purport and prop up a system.
The warrior class.
The warrior class, right? And if enough of these men stand in one place and say, this is enough, that's when a revolution happens.
Mhm.
So this is the most dangerous group of the demographic that the Matrix and the people are trying to control, and they have to have a narrative over. And that's why they're trying to weaken them in every regard. And when I'm sitting there saying, don't listen to the bullshit, become physically strong, think for yourself, prioritize your brotherhood above what the fucking Matrix is telling you, do not blindly comply, resist the slave mind, all these things I'm saying, they just sat there one day and said, wait, the most popular person on the planet is saying, don't listen to our bullshit. Delete.
Yeah, so I don't think I have an issue with somebody coming after my name, saying whatever they want to say. It's going to happen. That's a part of the game. The bigger you get, the louder you get. That's whether it's in business, theology, church, military, social media, you're going to have that happen. And Hollywood's going to happen to you. The concern is when we can't have debate. Right. There's nothing more powerful than you and I having a debate. Vaccine. In our family, we sat down, we had the conversation about vaccine. My dad's a conservative, 80 years old. He says, I'm going to take the vaccine and I'm going to take the second shot and I'm going to take a booster and I'm going to take another booster. He went through all the boosters, right? And he says, but I'm doing it because of my age. I'm like, go for it. And hey, my nanny, hey, I'm going to do this. I'm taking this. Go for it. We had a conversation and then we made a decision what people wanted to do. Nothing wrong with that, but to not allow that discourse to take place is a challenge. To be fair, I went on there and I asked our research team, I said, guys, tell me everything Tate said that's pissed people off. Okay, I want to read some of this stuff.
Sure.
And, some of it's rubbed some people the wrong way and some of it's offended certain people, but these are some of the things that you've said in the past before. You said, it's been proven that the smartest people in the world are men. Okay.
Correct.
I think you had that with Barstool Sports, and then they came out with the Portnoy and the highest IQ. And then later on, it was proven that most of the IQ was more men than it was women.
Absolutely.
Next, I will not administer CPR unless you're a hot female.
Yeah.
Okay?
So what's actually interesting is, and this is what's really, really important because it becomes a broader argument than just me and what's happened to me. And I want to make something clear to the social media companies also as a whole. A lot of the things I said were in longer format video on YouTube 3-4 years ago. And the way that social media is being produced and also digested has changed significantly in the last year. It's all TikTok, it's all YouTube shorts, it's all Instagram stories. TikTok in real time has destroyed the attention span of billions of people. Have you ever watched somebody on TikTok? How long do they give a video before they get bored? How long? Watch someone. Next time you see
2
someone on TikTok.
seconds.
Boring.
Yeah.
Boring. Like your attention span is gone. You can no longer focus on the real world. You can't focus on anything. ADHD is being developed in real time from these apps, right? So the idea of me producing a 7-8 minute video like I used to, and people consuming all of it and understanding the context is gone. They'll take one few seconds, like me saying I wouldn't administer CPR to a man, for example. And it was actually satire, of course. It's a joke. I talk at length about how
That's the part.
that's the whole point. It's a joke. But they take that one part, they put it on a TikTok, boom, boom, boom. They add some editing, they remove the tonality, they make it interesting and funny, and it goes viral. That's fine. But the point we now live in a world where anything you ever say can be taken out of context. Anything you ever say can be weaponized against you. And I'm not complaining. I don't believe in complaining. I believe in responsibility. And I'm not saying I didn't say them. I'm not saying I didn't mean it. I'm saying that most of the people who are upset by things I've said have heard a few clips out of context and never actually digested any of my content seriously. Because that was part of a very long video. Yeah. The idea that I would let my brother die next to me, my own brother or my friend die next to me.
Because he's not a hot chick.
Because he's not a hot chick. It's asinine. It's an aim, right? But it's stupid to even believe it. But if you watch the whole video at length, that makes sense. But if you only see that, then it doesn't make sense.
You know what's crazy?